All right, let's get this show started. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. It's called Box Seats. So this is what we do. We have a conversation about sports, what happened the night before, whatever's going on in the hottest topics. Let me bring my man Talent, one of the best in New York, to talk about sports and comedy. T, what's going on, bro? How you doing, sir?
Hey, man. Everything's glistening over here, getting ready for Sunday. See the New York Jets hat, baby. We ready.
Yeah, there it is. My man Mike Sean is also in the building. Mike, what's happening, bro? How you doing?
What's good, y'all? I'm in an empty house. We're in the middle of moving, so everything's good. Boy, moving sucks.
It really does.
Hey, I was wondering why he had that shower curtain background. That's not like Mike. Mike
turn your phone this way. Mike,
when you're moving, you got to find them spots.
Mike, turn your phone this way. Turn your phone this way, Mike. There you go. There you go. My man Dave, the business bully, is also in the building. Dave, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm quite concerned about Michael Sean. He's moving like every 2 months. How many warrants does he have, in fact? Have we run backgrounds on this man?
No, I'm good. I'm good. December 21st,
Are you the Puerto Rican El
It's going to
Chapo?
be a super party.
Mike took care of all those warrants.
He's also in the building. The man, how you doing, sir? Thank you for joining the show, bro.
I'm good. How's everybody, man? Great to see you, gentlemen. How's everybody? Happy holidays.
Yeah, same to you, bro. Let's jump into it because there's a lot of stuff I want to cover today, man. So T, you're gonna go up first as usual. First thing is I gotta talk to you about. Let's see. Let me bring up my thing up here on this thing. Is Carlos Carrera joined? Carlos Carrera joined the Giants for a massive $350 million 13-year deal to join the Giants. It is the fourth largest baseball contract in history. And it's probably the reason why the Giants didn't sign your boy Aaron Judge, because they were probably knee deep in dealing with this. What do you think about this 13-year deal? These baseball contracts are insane, bro. Like, they're insane.
First of all, when I hear the name Carlos, it reminds me I got to get some hubcaps. Do they still sell hubcaps? That's a legitimate question, though. Am I right? Let me go to the Hispanic. Mike. Am I lying? That's a legitimate question.
They don't call them hubcaps. They don't call them hubcaps, and they're wheel covers.
I'll have the West Coast.
Wheel covers. Thank you, Mike. See, when in doubt, go to the smart Spanish dude on the show. Okay, wheel covers. Learn something. 2 minutes in the show, we learned something. Listen, man, I think I don't think it's so much of why we didn't sign Judge because we were doing this. I think this was our constellation prize. You know, we didn't close the deal with Judge, but we need that power player. And then sometimes, bro, once you show how much money you actually got, you got to give it up.
Yeah.
Like, you can't call a comedian and you got $6,000 on the table and he's not available or he don't want to do it. Then you call me, offer me $3. Nah, bro, you had $6. I seen it. I seen $6. I can do it, but don't play with me. Give me that $6. Once you show your money hand, you really. My little sister used to do it all the time. Can I get $20? I ain't got no money. Can I get $20? As soon as I pull that knot out, she know I got it. Come on now. Come on. Give me that 20. I think that's what happened to San Fran.
I think so too. Mike, the Giants, do they look good? They got the highest paid shortstop in the game right now. Carlos Carrera is a beast too, in my opinion. What's your take, Mike?
Yeah, he's a beast now. They signed him for 3,500 years. Like,
you know what?
The end of the contract, he's going to be 75 years old. Like,
right.
Like, these contracts are ridiculous. Like, it's 360 over 13 years. He's going to be in his prime for probably 5 more years. And you got the rest of that contract you're going to have to eat for that. I don't get what these owners are doing. Like, I would rather give you an obscene amount of money, which this is an obscene amount of money, but the type of money we've never seen before for 6 years, than be locked in for 13 years.
Right. No doubt about it.
I don't get it at all.
Speaking of money and business, I got to bring in Dave, the business bully, give me his opinion on this, bro. Dave, his age is amazing, right?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. No, absolutely. I want to know who his agent is. I just want to have coffee with him because this is $26,923,000 a year. The other part of that is you only have to worry about it for the short term because in effect, Mike's right. Like, yeah, 6 of them years are going to be absolutely golden, but that means that you don't have to come up with a large nut ahead of time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Damn, a large one too.
I mean, preferably two small ones, but I mean, a moderately sized one. But one large nut means that you're wasting a whole lot of resources, but you're betting against the future. It's what we do when we have hedge funds. It's the same concept. They're hedging against the greatest shortstop in the modern era being locked in. Because what if he goes on a tear? What if he's completely good? You know what I'm saying? So now you've got a torn nut situation where now you're paying out money over money. That's just good after bad, Frank.
There we go. I like the wordplay, Dave. I like the wordplay.
You would, son of a gun.
Amir, Amir, you still there? You stuck?
Why he look like the Black Lurch from the Addams Family?
Like that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like when the Wi-Fi go out at the mosque.
We sit up here taking bean pie orders and can't get nothing in.
That's horrible. We'll wait for Amir to come in and
yeah, I got a text Farrakhan. Hey, what's the password? What's the code?
The password is white supremacy _ bean pie.
They got, the Muslim got a long password in the Nation of Islam. To the east, my brother, _.
Amir, you there? Amir, you there? All right, it looks like Amir. We'll wait for him to come back in. All right, his next thing up, man. I don't know if you guys hear this story, man. RG3 is in hot water because of his comments he made on Monday Night Football. Let me get this really quickly. They were talking about the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, and Griffin tried to explain how Hurts overcame his criticism, and he used the term jigaboo when he meant to use the term bugaboo. Now people are sitting there, they like some black folks on Instagram and everything else trying to get them fired.
Wait a minute, man. Yo, first of all, who are these nonsense of humor having people? You know how funny that is, man? Mm-hmm. We really taking this serious? That's hilarious. Now, this is what we mean. This is why comedy, one of the top rules of comedy is you have to be able to laugh at yourself. So this is why some people talk, I'm tired of the black-white jokes. If they're funny because we're making fun of our stereotypes, then so be it. That's how you bring people together. You pick on everybody's stereotype, you bring them together. This right here is funny because it's a blooper of a bad phrase.
Bro, not only that, it's a black man another black man.
And say jigaboo, that's hilarious.
Bro, it was a black man talking about another black man. I don't know why people are all up in the air about it. I don't know.
But see, that's the problem. In case you don't know, in the world of racial discrimination, the problem that the other side is fighting back with is saying, if it's something that can't be said by me, nobody should be able to say it, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with that. Like, I think that people can play amongst their ethnicities and have fun too. Yeah. Like and I still can't say it. Like two Jews could be saying anti-Semitic shit all day with each other because they joking, and I know I can't double dutch and jump in there and say the same. Everybody turn to me like, hey, you can't. That's us. I get it. This is what humor is all about. That's funny as hell. Jigaboo instead of bugaboo.
Dave, you as the master of the wordplay and everything else, I'm sure you understand a vernacular slip of the tongue. He didn't happen to do it on Monday Night Football in front of everybody.
Well, see, this is the problem here, Frank. We keep trying to downplay the fact that these athletes are paid to throw and run or tackle people. They're not paid to be orators. This is RG3 for Christ's sakes, because Robert Griffin III was too much for him to say. So you get him in there, and he starts saying something. Well, look, they being jigaboos. You want to know why? Because he was called a jigaboo a bunch of times when he was with the daggone Redskins. Okay. The other part of that is, I could see it if you take offense if he called them spear chucking jigaboos. Now that's offensive. I don't care who says it, but I feel like if you weren't offended by Spike Lee's beautiful musical tribute with Gershwin influences when he was talking about jigaboos and wannabes, then don't get offended here. Otherwise, you are just jigaboo signifying, and that's not a good way to be. I'm going to need you moon crickets to get it together.
Jigaboo.
I say this, some of the dudes on the panel busted out laughing, which made it even funnier. But I thought it was hilarious. But man, you know, when RG3 said this, he didn't mean to say. He meant to say bugaboo. He didn't mean to say jigaboo. So I can understand it. You know what I mean?
Hey, for you married guys, like, you know, you want to say baby, but you slip up and say bitch. Yeah. It's like, baby, come here, bitch, come, baby.
Amir, how are you looking at this, bro? Like it ain't that serious, right?
It's not. And I think that, you know, the bigger, you know, question is, why are we so emotional and so upset about every single solitary thing? We've gotten into this weird space where we can't have fun or make fun of or make light of anything without there being somebody, I'm offended. What are you offended about? If you call somebody out by name or specifically, I get it. If I'm on here and I say, you know, Talon is, you know, not the funniest dude I've ever met, then Talon has every right to feel some kind of way because I called his name and I said him. But when we speak it in generalizations, what are you upset? If you don't, I've grown up my whole life always thinking to myself, if I don't identify with something, I'm not upset when somebody says it. I'm like, that ain't me. So there's nothing for me to be upset about. What am I standing here and, you know, giving dissertations about it? It had nothing to do with me. Yeah. That was a train of thought that he was in. And I agree with Business Bully. I think if you think back to RG3, especially, you know, in his heyday when he was a quarterback for that team, remember, he used to have all the crazy braids and, you know, he looked a little off from time to time. So that might have, you know, been in play when he was out there on the field, not only from signage, you know, from a signage standpoint, but going in and out of the tunnel. So, you know, it's probably something that's, you know, steeped within him that unfortunately came out, like you said, at just an inopportune moment. But come on, y'all, we got to start to smile and laugh. We can't take everything personal.
Speaking of laughing, T, last night I was watching the Golden State Warriors game. I was watching it live. Draymond Green, we'll talk about the game in a second. Draymond Green had a fan kicked out, and he said he had the fan kicked out because the fan threatened his life. When I was watching the game live, it seemed like they were going back and forth, calling each other the N-words and everything else and all that stuff. And it got to be comical to me as I was watching it live. It didn't seem so funny then afterwards, but he had the fan kicked out of the game. And I was like, wow, dude, it wasn't that serious, was it? And it seemed like it was because the fan supposedly threatened his life. What's your thoughts on Draymond Green saying there's no real consequences for bad fan behavior during the game? What you thought about?
Well, come to find out, the guy he's talking about is Jordan Poole's uncle. The saga continues. Hey, from what I heard, he was on the layup line. He looked over and the dude hit him with this right here. Me, you, 3 o'clock. And Draymond said, nope, I'm not going to see you at 3 o'clock, sir. Security. Trying to kill me. Mr. Poole, you got to go. Listen, of all people, if this was anybody else, it would have validity. I can't really take it serious because it's Draymond. And you talk more S than a little bit, bro. Like, you a big-ass Gary Payton. Like, so people going to clap back and say stuff back. You know what I'm saying? It's in a game. The guy threatening your life, really, my dude? He going to kill you right here at the game with metal detectors you had to get in with. Like, all it take to go to a game, because I don't know if you've been to an arena lately. You ain't just walking in all hunky-dory. They making sure your ass ain't coming in with nuts. So, you know he ain't going to kill you right here at the game. Let the man watch the game.
That's what I'm saying.
If he's that close, Frank, to threaten this guy, he's sitting in them floor seats. He had a couple of drinks.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. My man Dave, the Business Bully, Draymond Green stops the game during the game and has a fan kicked out because the fan supposedly threatened his life. I was watching it. I was like, at the time, I was like, this is hilarious to me. Hilarious to me. You're supposed to be some big threatened dude, and this dude said something. You got to have him kicked out. Okay, all right. I don't know. That's my take. What's your take?
Well, I mean, there's a few things. Number one, I feel like, Frank, if the box seats could give me a budget, I think we could make some serious money with some serious portfolio diversification. Here's what I mean. The first thing I want to do is sit these big ass athletes down in a room and explain to them, you're millionaires. If you don't want to have no liability, nobody sue you, hire a private security company. Listen, all of them will dress like Amir Sealy. They usually pray to the east. Yep. And they will handle absolutely everything, and they don't need no weapons. All they need is Allah in these hands, and you will get that Akbar. You feel me? Straight up and down. Like, what is the problem here? Like, why are you so afraid? Listen, I'll never forget this. I was 19 years old, and I was watching Talent in New York, and this dude just kept heckling him about his money. And I think Talent had like 3 or 4 gigs, like back to back. So he had knots. Talent would walk around with knots. Anyway and anyhow, the Talent was like, all right, then. Let's play big bank, take little bank. And Talent was just pulling money out of everywhere. And then he stepped off the stage onto the dude's table. Was like, now how much you got? And it was like, and I'm not saying, like, I mean, if you're gonna be a big, intimidating ball playing size dude, like that's the gauge right there. Talent ain't had no problem handling it. What are you so afraid of, sir?
You did that,
sir? Dave hit the nail on the head. You know, my sound just came back. You lost my sound at budget. When he said, if Boxy's gives us a budget, my sound is completely wrong. I missed everything except Talent. Thank you. He said, if Boxy's give us a budget, my shit says,
he just pulled from the sound budget.
Asking for a budget for the box seats, that's where the FCC come in.
Everybody got jokes. Everybody got jokes. But man, talk to me about this, man. Because Toure, I saw Toure's post before I got on. Toure called him vaginal. I thought that was hilarious.
You know what's again so amazing, and I think Talent and Dave both alluded to it. First of all, these guys are, some of the biggest trash talkers, and him in particular. He's one of the biggest trash talkers the league has ever seen and known. And I get it. Maybe you're not as tough as you supposedly appear to be, or whatever the case may be. But the other thing is, sometimes you just need to ignore people. If you got a fan or somebody and they saying something crazy, you can ignore them. You could just go. I always say the best thing that you could do, especially if, let's say, he was a fan of the team that you're playing, then go out there and drop 50 on them. Give somebody 60. And then this way, you could just walk off the court nicely and look at them and go,
yeah.
But you talking to me. This is what I do for real. This banter stuff is not what I do. This is really what I do. Right. Like, show and prove. You don't have to go back and forth with idiots. Like, I know that's not something that we stress enough, but sometimes you don't got to go back and forth with people. You just kind of let them be and be like, I'm ignoring you and let you. Eventually, you'll just go away. Let them go away.
No doubt about that.
Respond.
So let's talk about the game, T, because Golden State ended up losing on the road again. A couple days ago, everybody was riding high, talking about, they got their mojo back. They beat the Celtics over the weekend. Now, we sit back looking at it now like, okay, they went to Milwaukee, faced the second best team in the East, and they lost on the road. How are you looking at the loss on the road, Golden State? It's getting ready to be, we ain't too far away from the middle of the season, bro. Is this what Golden State is or not? What you think?
No, I mean, what we're seeing now is this. First of all, this is Milwaukee. I just said a day ago, what else can we do over there? They're trying to add Jay Crowder. Why? Like Milwaukee, when everybody's there and they're healthy, we already know they go with the best of them. I think with the Golden State we're seeing right now, because they're still trying to put it all together, Clay seemingly is coming around. So that means those top 2 or 3 teams, East and West, are going to be the ones most likely give them a run. Those lower echelon teams, they're gonna build their bricks off of that. They're gonna build their bricks off of all those games in the schedule that are midway down teams, and they're gonna have a decent record come 2/3 deep into the season. And that's when, hopefully, if you're Golden State and you're Steve Kerr, you're hoping that cohesive to kick in by then, because Clay looks like he's coming around. I told you, it comes down to Clay. All the blame is on Clay. Draymond is hustling out there, sweating, banging. Steph, we already know, automatic doing what he got to do is bench. Jordan Poole, everybody's coming and showing up. The person who's just now seemingly starting to show up in the last 3-4 games is Clay.
Okay, I definitely hear what you're saying about that. Dave, talk to me, man, about Golden State losing again on the road. They only won 2 games on the road. I think they lost like 14 now. I think it's 2-14 on the road. Dave, should Golden State fans and Golden State management and ownership be worried, or do you think there's still time to turn it around?
I think we're coming up on the midway point. I think there's time to turn it around. Will they? Probably not. I think they have the same problem that Doug Collins had with Michael Jordan. I think right now it just looks like, toss the ball to this one, and that'll be that.
Right.
Like, I don't feel like there's an offense worth talking about. Phenomenal play, and I need to be clear here before everybody says, well, we got this person. No. I didn't say the players weren't good. I'm saying that you need a strategy. I don't give a damn how good the players are. If there is no game plan that people can actually follow, execute, and improve upon, you're going to have this. And I think they're so talent heavy that they're system poor.
Talent heavy and system poor. I like that. I actually like that.
Nice.
Amir, let's be honest. Golden State really has a team to be able to do it. They have to be able to put it together and everything else. But they are phenomenal at home. But they are horrible on the road. Is this who they are, or do you think they're gonna turn it around?
I think that it's a combination of things. I think losing some key pieces that they lost obviously from last season. What was it? I know there's one young man in particular they lost from last season who was an integral part of everything that they were able to do last season. And here's the thing: whatever new player, Gary Payton Jr., whatever new players are being asked to step up, sometimes that learning curve isn't as easy as people think. When you are, the hunted, and this year they're the hunted because they did win the chip. Every game, you're getting everybody's absolute best to, you got to understand that cats are like, look, we may not even make it to the playoffs, but we beat y'all this season. Athletes have weird ways of putting things and making stuff make sense in their head sometimes. But I think the biggest challenge that they have is, again, finding that cohesiveness and finding a player or the players who could step in and fill the void of Gary Payton Jr. having left that organization and what he brought to it last year, because he knocked down key shots. He was a great defensive asset to that team. And you got to find a player that's willing to go back to doing those simple things in order for those other players to continue to do the things that they did last year, and into this year, so that team could be effective again. So they're just trying to figure it out. I think they're going to be fine once all is said and done.
The Lakers played the Celtics last night. The Celtics went up by 18 and ended up starting to lose by 13. And that's when I cut the TV off, to be honest with you. I didn't even see the last couple of minutes. I cut it off. 1 minute, 4 minutes left to go in the game. Celtics go about 13. I cut the TV off, missed the whole great game. Celtics end up coming back, tied at OT, ended up winning the game, everything else. I wake up this morning, everybody's blaming LeBron and AD for that collapse. What's your thoughts on the Celtics defeating the Lakers in OT in LA?
Well, first of all, to get to OT, LeBron had a chance. He had the last shot. And this is what happens when you read your own press clippings. The thing about LeBron that's out there in the universe is that, A, he's either no good with the big shot, or he's afraid to take the big shot. When you go back to the big games, one off of a big shot in the end, it's either Kyrie in Cleveland, other people, Wayne Wade in Miami, everybody but LeBron. He's just not known for that. So it's the question, is he scared or he just can't do it? He folds under that pressure. And last night, he forced the issue. They had the last shot. They could have kept it from going to overtime and won the game. And because he read his own press clippings, he was dead set on breaking that curse or that urban legend or whatever it is about him. And he said, I'm going to hit this game winner. That shit clunked off the side of the rim. It was like he shot a golf club at the rim. And here we go to overtime. So yes, you do blame LeBron, because being a floor general that we've seen him be, that was the time to find an open man for that shot. He literally stood out there with the dribble, that last second thing, let the clock wind all the way down and pulled this awkward three. It was a Steph Flurry. He pulled a Steph Flurry and boinked that joint. So his fault right there. And then when you get to overtime, AD to me ran out of gas. And you blame AD because he missed the two most crucial free throws of the game. Two. He goes to the line and missed both of them, which becomes that rebound that sends it back down to make it happen. So yeah, you blame both of them. Good game though.
All right, I missed all this. I gotta look it up. My man Dave, The Celtics defeated the Lakers. The Lakers are taking all the blame this morning with about not being a good team, everything else. Do you think all this stuff that the Lakers blame the Lakers in hearing this morning is warranted, or do you think they're turning things around?
Boo! Let's blame Dave.
No, hell no. I mean, let's face facts. This was my brother's hat, and I'm only wearing it because he loved the Lakers. I didn't, and I love my brother in spite of his horrible taste in teams. The truth here, Frank, is LeBron is middle-aged now. Let's just call it what it is. He's got just as many days in the windshield as he has in the rear view mirror, and unfortunately, he's putting up bricks where it counts, like he's building another school or a homeless shelter or something out there in Ohio. I don't know what he's doing, but I will say this. The Lakers lost that game more than the Celtics won that game, because you should never, and I know, Frank, you about to jump for joy, so please calm your little light-skin heart down, but you should never, if you're Boston against that Lakers team, be in a position where you're anywhere in the same kind of scoring arena. Like it should be I'm not saying it should be a blowout, but it shouldn't be anything close to tied. So yeah, LeBron and those guys, they need Shaq back just so they can get the icy hot endorsement and really like get those joints feeling good, man.
Mike Sean's back. So Amir, talk to me. What you think? Do you think that more blame should be gone to the Lakers for the way they collapsed at the last minute because they had the game won, or do you think that it's more to that I'm not paying attention to?
No, I think that, the blame is rightfully so on the shoulders of LeBron and AD, but, you got to lose some. The one thing that we have been watching at least, in the last few weeks with the Lakers is they seem to have at least gotten an idea of what their identity is, and they're playing the game better. The season started, we were all like, it's over for them, they're the worst, they're super old, blah, 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 blah. And then AD had those 2 games back to back where everybody, even had him in the MVP, conversation and everything. So, again, they're like everybody else, trying to figure out key moments when people should take over. And I think Talon's absolutely right. LeBron is a victim of the good and the bad as far as his, is concerned. Nobody wants to say that because we never tear down, old guys once they've, been past their prime. And it's just kind of amazing to me because sometimes, Father Time or whatever is undefeated. We keep acting like that's not the case. It's undefeated in every sport. But now they're old. It's time for you to sit down, watch the game, let the young people play. That's the evolution of the game always. But we don't say that. So we'll see.
Mike Sean, talk to me, man. What's your take on the Lakers losing to the Celtics last night after going up by 13 with 4 minutes left to go in the game?
Dog, I've seen worse collapses. I saw a worse collapse last week when the Sixers were up by 9 with a minute and like 10 seconds left. And they literally, like, their grace was that in overtime they ran plays and the Lakers didn't. I'm watching these collapses all over the league. Like when teams start getting pressed by defensive players, things start falling apart until the playoffs. That's what's the difference between the playoffs and regular season. And in these certain circumstances, playoff defense is being played for like little spans of time. Like little spans of time, all of a sudden these players care that we're really going to defend and we're really going to use our athleticism for more than just offense. Because these guys are super athletic. Like all these players that we talk about have the potential of being great defensive players. They just choose not to because they know where they make their money. They don't make their money getting defensive player of the year. They make their money being in the MVP balloting. So, I wasn't shocked. I was just like, damn, y'all blew that game. They did blow the game, but it happens in this league all the time.
So, Talon,
I'm a Knicks fan, so I've seen it a lot.
Talon, believe it or not, the Pelicans, even though they lost to the Jazz last night, they are the best team in the West because this Phoenix now has lost 3 in a row. The Pelicans are now the best team in the West. And believe it or not, they are title contenders. So people are sitting there saying, wow, these guys literally got it together. So my question for you is, they are 18-9 in first place. Are they the Pelicans legitimate title contenders to you?
His face. He got the duck face.
That's not a Pelican face.
No, you got a Pelican face. What you thought that about the Pelicans? Because Zion is back.
It makes me want to go play my Jay-Z albums. We don't believe you. You need more people. The hell out of here. The best team in the world. See, this is why I hate talking about stuff early in the season. Because when you're early in the season, everything you can say anything. Hey, hell, the best in the West. Yeah, there's 7 games in. Anybody? Stink. Let me tell you something. One thing I can guarantee you, I can't guarantee a lot of things. Like I can't promise a girl that I can show her a unicorn, but I can damn well guarantee you they ain't gonna be the best team in the West. I guarantee you that. So enjoy this little, what do you say, 17-9?
18-9. 18-9.
Ooh, 18. My bad. 18-9. Man, you don't get the damn Pelicans. First of all, as an American, if a team named the Pelicans wins anything, I'm gonna be upset. If a team, if I go overseas, they go, hey, good to see you, the Pelicans. Listen. Good for them, Frank. Good for them, because when you got a high-profile player, you need to see days like this. So I'm very happy on one stance that they're seeing days like this, that they're at the top early on. So ain't no excuse after this. It's yours to lose, right? When Cream gets to the top and you up there getting all those accolades, keep in mind, there's nobody taking it from you. It's yours to lose. So now, when we fast forward 20 games and they're in that 4 or 5 slot, remember this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of birds out there. Pelicans ain't it.
Last year this time, Dave, believe it or not, the Chicago Bulls were leading. Literally, this time last year, the Chicago Bulls were leading in the East until they had a major injury with was Lonzo Ball. So I understand what he's saying, but at the same token, if you're looking at the West, everything else, you got to at least say that they're going to be in the mix regardless, right? I mean, am I wrong, Dave? What's your thoughts? Because
statistically, you're right. I mean, if we're talking about an 18-9 record, that means they have a 66% win average. That's pretty good. I do think that this deserves at least a half a Perry. Like, I think we need to calm down a little bit. Yeah. Like,
he said a half a Perry. He went like a half a Perry.
Half a Perry. That's it. Because I'm with Talon. I don't think when the dust settles and the smoke clears, because there's too many people who can get injured. There's too many things that could go wrong. And let's not forget the thing that people keep acting like. Y'all get on me for being such a pro wrestling fan, but here's the thing. At least you know with my sport, it is predetermined. In your sport, the refs have the same earpieces that the refs have in mine. And guess what? Somebody's making some calls.
Bro, I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. Amir, here we are. Amir, let me ask you, bro. You know basketball different. What's the chances of the Pelicans being in the mix? They definitely gonna make the playoffs at the rate they're going. What's the chances to you of them being in the mix to be coming out to representing the West to you in the NBA Finals?
I think the Pelicans have a great opportunity. They've actually been relatively good the last few years. It always boils down to whether or not, let's put aside the coaching, those players go out there night in and night out and play for each other and with each other. Because that's the difference. The coaches are, the coaches. They're going to draw plays. They're going to, keep the team pumped and all this stuff. But are those players out there going, tonight I'm passing the ball to Mike because Mike is hot and I can see Mike, getting his, doing what needs to be done. I'm get Dave the ball in the spots where Dave needs the ball so that he can get things done. Too often I'm watching these teams, like you said, have all these great players, but these guys don't go out there and they don't play for each other. Like you said, you're playing for your own, personal brand and this and that and the third. And that's great because, you want to take care of yourself and your family. But the bigger picture is y'all are out there as a collective, and no team sport has ever been won by one person. It's always a collective effort.
Ain't that the truth? That's the truth. Michael, Sean, what's your take? Do you think the Pelicans are for real this year? Because they lead in the West. You know what I mean? They're doing work. What's your take?
They were for real. They were for real last year, but they didn't have Zion Williamson. I don't see a team in the Western Conference Finals that is as complete as the Pelicans. I'll take Ingram, C.J. McCullough, and Williamson. I'll take that as my starting 3, and I will also take their bench, and I will take their role players. Like, Chris Paul is not going to be able to do what he does against the Pelicans. So I'm taking Phoenix out of there. I don't believe in Utah. Denver always does what they do, but for some reason, I don't believe in Denver. I believe these guys, this team will either be in the finals this year or next year. Now, we can't take injury into account. We don't know. We don't know who's going to be healthy and who's not going to be healthy. But this team is healthy. I see them being the best team with a mixture of youth and a mixture of veteranship on that team is perfect. I see them playing Milwaukee or Boston in the finals.
Right. So I brought that question up, Chief, purposely on purpose because everybody's overlooking the Clippers. So the big question I heard this morning is the Pelicans are doing some work, but the Clippers are starting to get their act together too. So some people ask, are the LA Clippers the title contenders? And are we overlooking literally the Clippers because the Clippers got, everybody coming back? What's your take, T?
Yeah, I mean, we are overlooking the Clippers, but we're not wrong for overlooking them. We can only look at what you show us. the people stink it up and go, why you overlooking us? Because you're stinking it up. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Of course we're overlooking the Clippers. They haven't shown us a duration of time in games where we go, ooh, they 7 in a row, they 8 in a row. So until you wow us on a continued basis, yeah, people are going to continue to overlook you. You just can't say, I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, you got the best welder at the house, but he didn't show up at the construction site, like, since they started. But they're saying he ain't the best because he didn't show up. We don't know if he's the best.
Right.
Well, something, Negro.
Right.
That's the Clippers right now. You're not 100% packed with stat. We're still waiting to see what the Kawhi machine's going to be. So we don't know. So right now, are they showing spurts of greatness in life? Absolutely. But are we overlooking them at the same time? Absolutely.
Okay, Dave, Kawhi is playing better. He had his best game all season against the Celtics over the weekend. And they're getting their mojo back. John Wall is playing, he got his average up to like, 14 points a game now. They put it together. PG's doing the same thing too. What's your take? You think the Clippers are being overlooked as title contenders?
First of all, the truth of the matter is, I think ever since V. Steviano came in and destroyed the Clippers, people have overlooked them. The other part of that is you can go to any bar on any given weekend and you'll see plenty of people who overlook the Clippers. I think it's a situation where you have to be absolutely honest with yourself, and it's okay. We need to have this conversation on box seats. Grooming is a very essential part of your makeup. So let's not overlook the Clippers. Let's go ahead and make sure that we line ourselves up for winning.
I knew somebody was gonna pull out some Clippers. I knew it was gonna happen somewhere. But man, what's your take on the Clippers, man? Do you think it's a rightful question for people to overlook the Clippers right now? Because, like I said, Kawhi Leonard came back and had his best game of the season against the Celtics over the weekend, and they getting together. John Wall's playing a lot better too, after major injury. So, what's your take?
I think the Clippers again, another one of those teams. Every year we've been praying for the Clippers ever since the ownership has switched hands. Like every year since that's happened, we've been like, all right, the Clippers. And every year something interesting happens, whether it's one of the great players on that team or whatever, but something always seems to happen around playoff time. And we're back to questioning how we jumped on the bandwagon in the first place. For whatever reason, I can't put my finger on it. I feel like they might be the one team in the league that has the black cloud over them. I don't care what they do, no matter who they seem to bring over there. They just seem to keep this black cloud over them in terms of getting to that next level.
Right.
And until, they do it, we're always going to be like,
yeah.
I think that we're in that space again, unfortunately, with the Clippers.
So, Mike Sean, you're a basketball fan. You pay attention to this and everything else. And your thought process is you're paying attention to looking at the Clippers, the way the Clippers are being shaped up. Are the Clippers a team that could also come out of the West to you?
Yeah, but they could also not make the playoffs. That's how erratic they are. Like, Kawhi Leonard had that game against Boston. You know what he did for the rest of the week? He didn't play. Like, I don't know. Like, they're the one team that deserves to be – like, Talon hit it on the head. They brought this on themselves. They deserve to be overlooked because we can't, from game to game, they're the most erratic team when it comes to what their lineup is going to be. Kawhi Leonard is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And due to injuries, he's never going to meet his career potential, which is crazy because the man has won championships and we know he's one of the best players in our generation. But you can't trust it. And I think they will never tell us the true severity of what Kawhi's injury really is. They'll never tell us, but you can't have a good game and then disappear for 3 or 4 games. And I'm not saying disappear playing the game. I'm talking about just not playing at all. So, I mean, they're always going to be overlooked.
Yeah, the statement of the day, though, it's funny that you bring up the Clippers because Donald Sterling, the former owner, he issued a statement that I told y'all about them niggas.
All right, T, let me ask you this question, bro. Here we go. You up, T. In the NFL, I don't know if you guys saw this news, right? Where we at? Marcus Mariota made the news, but a lot of people are not even paying attention to this news item. He quit on the Falcons. He left the team after being benched for rookie Desmond Ridder. And some people are saying he even did that during the game. I'm trying to find out if he did it during the game. But he got upset that he got pulled for the rookie, and he quit on the Falcons. I just quit. People saying, was it an injury? No, he quit. Like
I love it.
He quit. So
I love it. First of all, you said Mariota. First thing I thought about was the movie Goodfellas. I was like, what the hell is he doing with the Falcons? But that's Ray Liotta. So that's the first thing I thought. Second thing, though, this makes the game interesting. This ups the ante. This is some real playground shit, right? You bitch me? Hey, get my jacket. I'm out of here. This is a real nigrified moment right here. Like, we all think it. You know what I mean? We all go through it. You can't tell me when people get benched in sports, they're not sitting there bubbling like, I hate this. Oh, all types of stuff on their mind. This dude played it out real time. The game's still going on. Who bitch? Are you what? You know, he mumbled his way out of there. They got me messed up. I brought this joint to the deuces. Yeah. I love this. This is excitement in sports. Now, he got to deal with the repercussions, but that's exciting. That's exciting. That's like, oh man, this is right up there with Mike Tyson looking for his mouthpiece in the front row. That was nobody said that.
The only thing he didn't do was do with Antonio Brown. You know how Antonio Brown ran the
right. He wanted to be, he wanted to be a spectacle. That's the difference. But Frank, that's the difference in a conscious decision and mental illness. Conscious decision. He quietly quit on the side. He did a couple of these to appropriate people, and you part of it. You too. You knew it was coming. And he got out of it quietly. We didn't know. We just learned about this. Antonio Brown, mental illness. La 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 la. It's different.
T's on one today, y'all. T's on one today. Dave, talk to me, man. What you think about Marcus Mariota quit? Like what T said is not wrong. He's like, what? I'm benched and I quit. Okay. In professional sports, he quit.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm the only guy doing his homework now. This is weird. I'm usually the guy that never does his homework. The dude has a bum knee that needed to be evaluated. He got butthurt over the fact that he thought, they was just going to let him. No, sir, because we're not doing this in this day and age where people are having liability lawsuits and whatnot, insurance premiums going through the roofs for these teams. Listen, this is the real reason Marcus Mariota is upset. He thought that he was going to lead these Negroes to the promised land, like Brad Pitt in 12 Years a Slave. Hold on, Marcus. Not happening with the Negroes, darling. So just go on and walk off, be mad, take your little ball and go home. We won't miss you. There's plenty of white quarterbacks that okay, never mind.
Yeah, don't go there.
I tried.
Don't go there. We want to keep our potential advertisers who might pay, so I can end up, like I said, like you said, get some box seats, some money. So don't go.
I am 20% white. Like, I mean, in case y'all ain't know, I'm Irish from my grandmama's side, once removed. Check my swab. They got DNA. It's all good.
Marcus Mariota quits on the Falcons. Amir, in this day and age, it seems like it's happening more and more. What's your take, Amir?
Again, it's just hilarious to me how we are seeing so much of this kind of behavior in different sports. You know, like you said, you pouting, you sitting on the end of the bench. Sir, listen, it's the professional, you know, National Football League, sir. Nobody cares if you want to pout. At the end of the day, the third string and fourth string dude is like, cool. That means I'm that much closer to getting in the game. What are you doing? Like,
Right.
we really have to, you know, these guys really have to start thinking about the bigger picture, which is, and here's the best part of it. Let's just say for whatever reason they don't fire him and he comes back. What do you say to the linemen who you just quit on? Because you know they're gonna have a moment like what's the movie with Burt Reynolds? No, with Burt Reynolds. Remember when he quits on the team and they just let him get smacked around, him and Adam Sandler? Yard? Yeah, Longest Yard. They're gonna have a moment just like that. The lineman just gonna stand up. Okay.
Yeah, that was dope.
You know what I mean? So, dude, like, stop. You gotta just know that there's gonna be moments where you may or may not be playing your best. Go to the bench, get your head together, get in the right headspace, get back out there, given the opportunity, and lead your team. That's what quarterbacks are supposed to do. All that other stuff, y'all can stop. And the best part of that is you save that for when you get home. You could talk like that trash amongst your boys. Yo, son, you saw they bench me, and I just got up out of there. You tell your boys that later. We know it didn't happen, but tell them that later. It's
I thought
hilarious.
you gave it Sunday though. I really did. I thought you were talking, but yeah, you're right. That happened on The Longest Yard on both of those movies. That movie was Adam Sandler. Mike Sean, Marcus Mariota quits on the Falcons. What was your take when you heard this? Everything else, or when you're hearing this now? This is your first time you're hearing it. What's your take?
I think I want to see more of this. I think I want to see more. You know who should have quit? The Jets quarterback Mike White. He had every reason to be like, dog. Nowhere in NFL history has a quarterback's ribs been cracked twice. He had every reason to be like, what in the world is going on here? And people say Marcus Mariota came to his senses because ain't nothing worse than getting blamed for something. And you look around and you realize I'm not the only problem here.
Oh, shit.
Look, I've been in meetings, right, where they've complained about the morning show ratings, right? And they looked at me. And I said, I'm the most interesting person on the show.
Tell them. I know who you met with, too.
I'm the one who shares all my stories in life. And you want me to what? Like Marcus Mariota was like, and you're going to put this guy in it. He's going to do what? He's going to do the same thing that was happening to me. What coaches do is the quarterback is the scapegoat. And you go like, he's the problem. No, he's not. No, the whole organization is the problem. And the funny thing is, before the season started, Atlanta said, this is just a rebuilding year. This is a year where we're getting rid of our star quarterback, Matt Ryan. The expectations were low. And Marcus Mariota probably got pissed. Like, wait a second. The expectations were low. You know where we're at. And now you're going to pull me out the game? Man, you better pull the entire offensive line out the game then. Everybody got to get benched. You getting benched.
He went out with attitude. He was like, I told you, he went out with attitude.
Speaking of going out, T, this next story, somebody mentioned the Jets, so I'm gonna bring up the Jets. I don't know if you heard this news this morning, but Zach Wilson got promoted to being backup QB, and it looked like that Joe Flacco was downgraded to third and might get cut tomorrow. So news is that Mike White's backup is now Zach Wilson as they lead and go into the game this week. Man, are you happy about the Zach Wilson sign? Coming in as a second, or what? What you think?
Well, first of all, let me rebuttal what Mike just said about Mike White should have quit. They tried to send him home. You couldn't get that guy to go home. They put him in the team van twice. They said he circled back, hopped one gate, and kept coming back in the game. That's him, and I don't blame him. When you get an opportunity to be the star of the franchise and work on a new contract, be that guy. I'm a hop a gate too. So we tried to send Mike White to the hospital twice. He's a tough cookie. He wasn't having it. Jumped out that minivan 2 times with the Jets logo on the side.
Yeah.
Just for that. To answer your question, I am very happy that they moved him up. That's a move up for him. That's inching him back closer where he wants to be as far as Zach Wilson goes. And it's time to send Flacco packing, bro. Like, You cannot, and I've never had nothing against Flacco until last week. You see the situation, and I told my buddy who cuts my hair, he's a big Jet fan as well. I said my biggest problem with Flacco is when I can tell, when I can look at your face, Frank, and tell you're here with no concerns just to collect the check, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. When you look at Flacco, there's no sense of urgency, not an ounce in Flacco's eyes. And you see the situation. You see how important this game is, the part of the game. So they put you in there, and what do? This dude been cracked in the ribs 3 times and never dropped the ball. You've been tapped on the finger and fumbled, which end up being the difference in the damn game. You don't have no concern and urgency as the rest of the team, and that's why this is happening to him. I think Flacco is he's Brady 2 years ago when he said he was going to retire, and he's just, you know what? If I could sit on somebody's bench and collect a check, why not?
Yeah, because that loss made the Jets fall right out of the playoff contention right now.
Yeah.
They're still in it, but
that was horrible. That was horrible.
Yeah. So Dave, Zach Wilson's promoted to backup QB. The Jets fall out of they were 7th going into the game. They're now 10th, 9th, 10th in the playoff standings. I think I'll double check. But regardless, if Mike White gets hurt, because Mike White's playing injured.
Yes.
You think Zach Wilson, if he gets injured, do you think Zach Wilson can bring him home? Can bring him?
There's 2 parts to this. Number one, when it comes to a rib injury, like there's nothing you can do. I mean, you could tape them, but they have to heal internally. It's not like they got rib casts out here. Trust me, as a guy who spent a lot of time with ribs, I would know this. The second thing that you have to understand is, like, Flacco's in the twilight of his career. Mm-hmm. He's hot trash truck juice. He is lucky to be 3rd on any team. Right? Do I think old boy is the one to bring him home? Number one, he is better than Flacco, which, I mean, by that talent's dog right now in his lap is better than Flacco. So, it's not a hard threshold to hit, but I mean, I think time will tell. But
right, Amir, Zach Wilson's record is 5-2. His only 2 losses to the Patriots. He doesn't have the highest QBR rating. But he's coming in as backup to Mike White right now. Do you think he could bring the Jets home? Because like I've been hearing all on the news this whole week and everything else, people are scared to face the Jets, regardless who the QB is. What's your take on this, Amir?
I think he has the capability to do so. That's the one thing that they could kind of hang their hat on. The quarterbacks that they had in place, whether it's Zach or the other gentleman, both are, as our agreed Fig would say, is serviceable. But they've been doing extremely well. The Flacco thing, let's be fair. Flacco hasn't been good since he won, I think, or managed the Super Bowl, whenever that was. So he can get the Flacco out of here, and just allow life to move on for himself. But I think that we really just have to understand that at this stage of the season, you just want to be as healthy as you can, going into the playoffs and obviously playing well. That's the only thing that you can ask for, because everything else can switch in a heartbeat. And we know that because we've been fans of the game for so long,
Mike, you get the last word on Flacco, man. What's your take on Flacco? Do you think he should definitely be gone? And what's your take on Zach Wilson bringing home the Jets?
I just want to make sure. Am I feeding back or anything? Can you hear me okay?
You sound like you're in Apollo 13, but we good.
All right, well, I am. But Joe Flacco, it was time for him to go when he got hit the first time, and he said, "Ow." They were like, "Get on out of here." Once he said, "It's Sisyphus," he said, "Ow," and the offensive line was like, "Get him out of here." But Zach Wilson was just now he's the main side chick. Like, I did that too. I promoted my 3rd side chick. I promoted her up when my main side chick gained a few too many pounds, and I had to let her go. And I promoted, and this one's only 32. Like, she's a good age right now. So I promoted her. She's like the backup side chick now. That's what happened. Zach Williams is nothing but a backup right now. And Mike Williams, it's his job to lose. We said that earlier. And now Zach Williams, he won't admit it. But he's waiting for White to get hurt. He's rooting for it. He's waiting for a hard hit to go like, yes, I'm taking my job back. And that dog, there's a chance that he might hit Mike White on the sideline just to see if the ribs, and he'll say, "Well, I'm just checking to see if your rib protector's working." He might pop him in the ribs and be like, "No, I just want to see if you're good." That's all.
Yo, this is hilarious. Yo, the show's called Box Seats. We get ready to roll up out of here. Of course, we got comedy all the time coming in at all different rates. So, T, tell everybody out there how they can follow you. You got a lot of stuff going on this weekend.
Yeah, I just canceled all my shows this weekend to help Mike move. So I'm getting the second U-Haul. Like the Mike isn't, as you can see, he's in the first U-Haul. I'm getting the second one in a couple of hours and head down there to help Mike move. I got the new. You see the new U-Haul?
They're amazing. They're amazing.
It's like it's a Ford Fusion haul. So it's like the Ford Fusion, but then the back flare out. You get a couple of dresses in there, but that's what good friends do. So catch me at helpingmikemove.com. I'm gonna be on there for the whole weekend. You got like how many trips you think we got, Mike? 2-3 trips?
Two trips at the most. 2 trips at the most.
2 trips with the stuff he actually owns, and then 2 more trips with the stuff that Puerto Ricans steal. So I'll be busy all weekend, Frank.
Hey, Dave, before you say anything, can you give me my disclaimer, please?
The views and expressions of Talon Harris, Michael Sean, Amir Sealy, and Dave Anderson are not necessarily of boxing affiliates, potential partners, or white people.
You don't have to do that, man. Everybody know that the Puerto Ricans don't protest.
Dave, can you please give me
That was honest.
Okay. First of all, Puerto Ricans do protest. It's called the Puerto Rican Day Parade. The views and expressions of Michael Sean, Talon Harris, Amir Sealy, and Frank Holder are not necessarily those of Boxies, their affiliates, sponsors, and anybody else under their employ.
And I'm just going to say, Puerto Ricans and midgets have the best sense of humor in the world. They're the only ones that don't come out.
The views and expressions of midgets, I'm sorry, little people, I'm sorry, elfin people are not necessarily those of box seats.
Hey, so hold on. I'm the only one over here when I was a little kid playing football that played midget league football. That's a real thing.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. Check me out on Media Room 360. Check out my fellow black brothers who will be robbing an Apple store in the middle of the day quite soon. Okay.
Quite soon. Too
Good
late.
night.
Too late.
All right, Mike.
Mike's out of there. Mike's out of there. Dave, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Yo, you can find me at The Business Bully. And for those of you who are looking, y'all didn't know this, Mike is actually suffering from MS, Mike Sean side chick syndrome. So I need y'all to go ahead and go apply right now.
Wow.
Right, this man is just walking his journey. I'm gonna need y'all. I don't know where's he moving to now.
Wow.
Back to the outskirts of Puerto Rico.
Okay, protective custody.
It's
He's going to be living. It's a small island on the outskirts of the Puerto Rican island where all the little people gather.
It's safe there. Amir, tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
You can follow me on the gram at A-Rock Sealy. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Amir Sealy Complete. Always great getting on here with you, gentlemen.
Hey,
man.
hold on, real quick.
Guys.
What is this, guys? What is this?
It's a hat.
No. It's a midget hot tub. This one.
Yo, the show's called Box Seats. We get ready to get up out of here. The show will be replayed again at 7 and 11. We will be back again tomorrow talking about all those hot topics. That's T, Talent. That's Dave, the Business Bully. That's Amir. Obviously, these guys joined the show. Thank you all for watching the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Man, y'all are hilarious as usual.